Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to have Julie back. So, Julie, welcome back.
Thank you.
So, Julie, can you please let everyone know what your type is again?
Yes, I'm an INTP in ops, double feminine, TINE, consume, play, blast, sleep, and a number 4, social hierarchy.
All right, sweet. So, since getting your social type, what did you think and how did you feel about your social type?
Oh my goodness. Like I have so many thoughts. Like which thought do you want? I love it. I mean, the general big picture is like I was typed back in 2018 and it helped me a lot to like um recover some like mental health and things of that nature. It just helped me sort my life out. But there was definitely confusion over those 5 years. And it's like the social hierarchy, I feel like, is just what was needed for that because being a 4 INTP, like there's just some contradictions and it just really helps me see it all for myself and for my husband who's also like a skib, but he's a 3 and just the contradictions that he has. It's great.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird for your husband because he's like, sleep last, double activate play, but he's number three, so demon friends. So it's like so weird, right? And then
Well,
you're sorry, go
so,
ahead.
like it's so interesting because yeah, when they typed him in his video, so okay, he's an ESFP, SETE, play consume blast, double masculine, 3, of which there's a lot of that type in the community. But when he was typed back in 2018, they like, I remember Shan being like, she's like, I can't prove you're not sleep above blast, but I'm pretty sure you're blast above sleep. And I think it was the 3-ness in him. And Jocko Willink is his same type, but a 2. And ever since then, I've just always like, because I knew Jocko before I knew ops. So Jocko is like, as Dave would say, downloaded into my brain. And so often I just be like, why are you so different than Jocko? And I'm like, when I look at the parts and break it down, like, yes, you're the same type. But like Jocko is just Mr. like get after it. And my husband accomplishes a lot. But yeah, it's very specialized in his box and now I'm gonna go play video games because I'm done with
Right.
that, right? Like all the when I saw the 3 video, I was just like, and here's the list of how my husband is different than Jocko. There it is, right
Right.
there.
No, that's really interesting that you did notice this difference, and then it wasn't until the social type came in that it finally answered, I guess, the missing information needed to solve the problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. Yeah, you've missing information.
yeah, exactly. Um, you also are a contradiction yourself because you're an IP that is like double activate play and high friends. Um, which I guess you could say that all IPs wants to be like that anyways. So you kind of just shortcutted your way to friendship. You don't have to do the TI work to get the Jubilee. You can go straight to Jubilee essentially, you know. Um,
Oh,
but how do you personally experience that? I want to hear from your perspective
the
of,
friends part.
because like, with TIFE, it's like TI work, FE Jubilee, right? That's like the thing, right? But then because you're double activated play, you're with the tribe all the time already. And like the one thing that a lot of the lead TIs don't know is you don't have to do a TI to get the FE. You can just go straight to FE, right? So um so in your case, double activated play, double activated friends, um, essentially, or save your friends, sorry. But how do you experience that? Um, since knowing that type and like one of the fears of the IP is tribe hate, right? But then and they want the Jubilee, but so you're not likely to get the tribe hate, you're more likely to get the Jubilee. What's going on here for you in that aspect?
Okay, yeah, you said a lot, so let me try to give it a good answer. So, for one part, I wonder if this is something I'm curious about, is that so being consume, play, blast, sleep, I kind of feel like I begin and end with TI, if that makes sense, because it's like consume first and then I have to go through all this stuff. And then eventually actually it's like that delicious TI at the end that I also want. And I do need and want all this Jubilee in the middle, and then especially with friends, that much more Jubilee. But like something that like the biggest thing I'm seeing with the friends coin, which they bring up a lot, but the thing I can't get over, I guess, that I process the most about the friends is like how swept I am. And it's like, I wouldn't say that like in the natural state, like when I was a kid, right? That's like when I look back, it's like, how about before I had my shit a bit more together now? It was like I always made friends easily, but I didn't keep friends easily because I'm like, yeah, you're my friend now. Let me just like tell you all my like masculine TI judgments. Oh, you don't like that? I don't know how to handle that, right? Like that's like it's like that still took a while. Like I don't think I got good at friends until I was like in my 20s, like at friends. And so I did get good at that in my 20s, and it does help a lot with my FE. It's like definitely now I can get to my FE, I believe, perhaps in that tribe jubilee sense more easily than somebody who has friends lower in the stack. So that's definitely a bonus. But then there is this other side of being swept, which is the biggest thing that I just come back to with being a four. And I think it's because I'm sleep last, because I've talked to some other fours, and the ones who have sleep don't seem as like swept and pushed around, right? It's like constant call to adventure, like for me, just all the time.
Right.
Everything I get to is I don't know, just processing that. Like I got back into OP because I was back on Facebook because of I was part of another friend group, and then I started seeing the ops, and just seeing how much happenstance pulls me around and other people impact where I am and what I'm doing. But I would revert it and say my end goal though is like my desire, which I'm trying to process how much of this is like some demon flex desire versus like my masculine TI savior. But it's like I do want to create good work. And I get frustrated at my sweptness and of my desire to just be like, as soon as someone hits me up, I'm like, yes, but I need this friend. Why do I? Because they're a person and I want them in my life and I want everyone in my life and we're all
Right.
friends and they invited me and therefore I need to go. But like now I'm finding I can get to that masculine TI, and I think I do actually want that more by having family. So like which is like friends, right? That's like the fourth thing is like get a family, get a group of people, and then you can focus on doing things for them. So I have kids now. And so now I'm finally able to like start to say no to like every little swept thing that comes my way a little more. And I love the satisfaction of like being able to be like, no, I have this project. This is a priority. And I can kind of tack it on and be like, and it's for my family because I want to contribute to my family. Ultimately, I want to have, right? Like not just in like a motherly way, but also I want to like have a career and be a role model for my kids and be able to like prioritize us. So it's like this nice little way it brings me back to my masculine TI.
I guess that's the ST sleep then that you're going back to.
I
Like
think so.
oh, I see. Okay. Well, how's your journey been like with that ST sleep last of yours? You
Oh
know,
man.
ITI, the SI routine for like what works for you, I guess, health routine. It could be like a health, kind of like Brian Johnson style, like tracking all your health stuff. It could also be like coming up with like something original, like you would construct that's kind of like that ENTP guy. What's his name? Mark Rober. He like makes all those like gadgets and stuff. Like that's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a two, right?
I think something like that. I think.
Yeah, he's a two. I know because we on the Femmes we interviewed Blay, and Blay has all these type twins that I didn't know about because I didn't do the SI research before interviewing Blay. And Mark Rober is one of them, and he's a 2. But yeah, okay, so like that is a fun thing. So after getting my type, right, it's like, yeah, what are you supposed to work on? So the past 5 years, right, that's probably 5 years around there, I was like, let's work on sleep. And the funny thing is, I've been using my specialize to like work on my sleep. Like I thought I was working on my sleep, and I still think I have been, but I was using my specialize. Like I've got all my methods down for taking care of my house, for how I clean it. If I only have 15 minutes, I know what I can do. I have things broken down into segments, like in my mind for, like OE chaos, for instance, could not handle dishes, but it's like, okay, just bring the dishes over here. If you only have 5 minutes, maybe that's all you can do. Okay, now maybe just get some in the sink soaking and then come back later, like that kind of thing. It's like, I thought I was really, really using my sleep, and I still think I was, but I was actually using a social savior. And I was just really, these past 5 years, digging into my specialization. And I think that that's a good thing. I think that like it did get me there. What I've been processing is that I think I dropped my responsibility a little bit, actually, which is weird. But this morning, even I was just thinking, I'm like, I'm not sure that's bad because I specialized the specialization, which allows me to do more of the responsibility, if that makes sense. So I think I did get good at my routines, and actually that guy and Brecka recently, right? They both, and Brecka's sleep less too. They both, which is why he jives more with me. But I do a lot of that SITI body care. I mean, I have supplements, and I take this and that, and I'm always trying new things and seeing if it benefits me. Like a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't work. And I'm like, have you tried it? Like, like
Right.
after Brecka's thing, he recommended collagen. And I had other data points for it, right? It was like, well, I had a headache really bad, and I went and had some pho, and perhaps it was the collagen that helped in that. And like
Right.
I'd been starting to suffer from headaches. And then I saw Brecka, all his stuff. And then he was like, this collagen. I was like, let me try taking that. And oh my gosh, it made me feel so much better. And people are like, here's all this proof that like it's wrong. And I'm like, just try it, because your SITI body is your own, and it depends on whatever other inputs you have going into it. It depends on your genetics. It depends on so many things. So if it works for you, then do it. So yeah, very play down into the sleep, but I do work to optimize all that as the end goal. And so partially using specialize and partially just consume, play, blasting down there, get a little SITI bloop, and then continue on with it.
Have you heard of Dr. Rhonda Patrick?
No.
Okay, well, she was interviewed by Joe Rogan and I think by Tim Ferriss in their podcast, and like she's like big in the health sector. So you can send your like 23andMe DNA test or whatever DNA test you have to her website, and then they'll send you a report of all like the missing vitamins and minerals in your body based on your DNA. And then you can kind of
Nice.
like fill in the gaps. So for me, it was like really interesting. When I got it back, I was like, oh, I'm already taking some of it, like vitamin D and all that stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, you're missing ubiquitol or something, which is CoQ10. So I started
Yeah.
buying CoQ10. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna make a difference. I feel better. You know.
Yes.
So it's always cool to see what's like what your body is missing. And it's kind of like we said, everyone's body is different. So what's gonna work for you is gonna be different for someone else.
How much was it? Can I ask?
I don't remember. It wasn't expensive. I don't
Because
remember
Brecka
honestly.
does it, but it's like $600.
Oh no, this one was like less than 100. So
Oh, under 100, definitely. Because I mean, like, too, even $600, it's like it's worth it. But like this is how I always am. I'm like, I could just look up Brecka's list because he says there's only 5 or 6 things. And I'm like, I could just try each one.
Yeah.
And if you like, whenever I try something new, I just really restrict my diet for 2 weeks because it takes about 2 weeks for your body to like really show a change. And I just watch and see, like, do I feel better? Do I not? And then I'll like try to take it back away and see how I feel then too. And being forgetful, also, some supplements, I'm like, I know that works because I forgot to take it and started feeling bad and had to rediscover it because people will be like, well, placebos. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm forgetful. And when I forgot to take that, I started feeling worse. So
Oh, I
explain
see.
that.
Yeah. Well, I will believe you more on that placebo stuff and like how you're feeling about it because you're a double observer, so you're not as crazy as you know the double
Oh,
designers when it comes to this. You're more your perspective on it will not be as crazy.
oh yeah.
It's more legitimate. That's how I do things now. It's like, okay, if it's like
Yeah.
thing related stuff, talk to an EJ or IP because they're legit, but don't talk to them about people because they're crazy about that kind of stuff. uh, it's unresolved, right? So, but well, speaking of like, because we're talking about like the health stuff now, there's like they did a class on that ENTP guy who is doing the blood test with Dana White. I don't know if you saw that one. And then like
Brecka, that was Brecka.
is that Brecka? That guy? Okay, okay, I forgot his name. But yeah, I wanted to do his test also. But then the company he's associated with is with that scammer guy. What's his name? Grant Cardone.
Right.
So I'm like that's why I was like hesitant to like pull the trigger on that one. Because I'm like, but that guy's a scumbag, Grant Cardone. He's like the biggest scumbag. So, you know, um,
That's hard. And I mean, this is maybe DE, so maybe you don't trust me on this one, but like to me, it feels like people can become associated with people. And I don't know, it's like, should that impact like their results? That's why with me, with him, I would just try it for myself. But you know what, too, though? It's like I want to deep dive him, but I have like a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old, and I'm like, I can't right now. So I like plan to in the future. I would deep dive all that myself and see what when someone has tribe drama like that, I always try to look it up for myself. So,
right. Well, I mean that Brecca guy is legit, but the guy he's partnered up with is not. So it's that kind of deal. He's like the snake oil salesman, right? But then again, he's just an investor, so maybe it's okay, and maybe he's doing it to try to clean up his image a little bit, because he does have like a dirty image, right? So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
If it was
No.
like if he was affiliated with someone else, I think it would have been I would have like went for it. But I'm like Grant Cardone because like I'm a double decider, so and I'm also D, so I scan the tribe, right? I'm like that guy is like he's like in the scum pile, So um so I'm like damn it, because like the product is really good, but it's affiliated with a scumbag, so I don't know. So it's one of those things, like like I was saying to you, like okay, double deciders know who's in the spectrum and who's like bad
Yeah,
and
yeah,
good, right? So Grant Cardone is in like the spectrum of bad, from what I can see, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, he could be cleaning up his image, right? So who knows, right? Like it's like Andrew Tate, he's considered to be scummy, but he's like cleaning up his image recently, right? You know, he's doing like and he's doing phone calls with his mom, trying to show his like good side now, trying to like really like clean up his image a little bit. He's saying things like, I'm not that guy anymore, like this kind of stuff he'll say in his recent videos.
Yeah.
So he's like,
So you're saying no, but I admit I don't follow him, but I take your word on it.
oh, Grant Cardone, you mean? Or who are you talking about?
Andrew Tate. I
Oh yeah,
mean, yeah.
I don't follow him. I just like because I'm a double decider, so like it pops up in my radar, and I like I do some, I just check in to see what's going on, do some investigation, and
I think that's also in part your two-ness, since you now officially got type 2, because like that also kind of like I feel like Melanie, who's me but a 2, and then Dave, it's like I feel like you guys also are like responsible for kind of watching the tribe more. I mean, you're gonna be more even more even with it because like double deciding, but I feel like too looking for scams, looking out, watching, being responsible.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't have enough data to say yes or no. Because I have a friend. She's an ESFP jumper, and she's like sleep last. and number two also, and she she doesn't follow any social media stuff, so she doesn't know any of this stuff. So it depends on the person, I guess. So if you're someone that follows social media, then you would be aware. She doesn't know anything about YouTube or any of that stuff. She doesn't follow, like she's completely like
That's true. Yeah.
she's pretty much offline. Like she's on Facebook, but just to like use the messenger to talk to friends, right? So um yeah, so it's hard to say. Like, I mean, you could I mean that could be it, but you could also say that for fours, right? Because fours are
Yeah.
also scanning. But okay,
But we're more all like, but everyone's good. There's good in everyone. You don't know. Like maybe Grant Cardone has a heart of gold. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that because I have no idea about any of him. But I tend to like give people the benefit of the doubt up front, which I'm trying to do less and less the older I
yeah,
get.
yeah, that's definitely something bad that the fours do. I can see
Yeah.
that. It's really bad. Like my girlfriend's a four, and she takes everything at face value almost, and I'm like, oh my god, you're being tricked. You're being tricked, because I'm a two, right? Because like, so
Yeah.
the twos, the twos, they have like the hero syndrome, and then the
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
the twos also have they're savior friends, but their savior work first, or as
Yeah.
they would say, savior scam.
Yeah. I know.
Like when I got my audio back from Dave, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely savior scam." But he's like, but you're like me. I'm also savior scam. That's like
Yeah.
he's said in a good way. Obviously, scam means like you're obsessed with work and business and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
But because you have because two cares about friends, they'll warn their friends about like the scam, right? Well, the ones will try to scam you just up front, right? Because they don't care. It's all about like whatever elevates them, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
so
well.
so for me, it's like when I see my friends who are fours getting tricked, I'm like, oh my god, why did you take this at face value? Are you kidding me? So it's either like this product or service is a scam, or this person is a scumbag, right?
Yeah.
Because because I can see it in the spectrum as a number two. Um,
And
so
it's weird. I can like see it whenever it's like happening to someone else more because I'll feel protective of that person. But
right.
it's like when it's me, there's more of like a we're all equal vibe going on. But for some reason, it's like like I was just having a conversation with someone about like if someone, I don't know, they were talking about someone and I was like, this person is lying to you. But I guess I'm also like a decider in a way. But it's like I get more protective of like other people than of myself, which is kind of weird. But it's like more on the fourness for me. It's like now that I have my kids, though, I just went through this huge cataclysm that like the socials has helped me process of getting rid of someone who was incredibly abusive to me over the past 5 years, just like gaslighting. I'm slowly trying to build a business, which is really hard for me to flex about. So yeah, go me, I said it. And like, and she
Go,
like,
Julie.
yeah. And she like came in and was trying to gaslight me and say it was her idea, just all these things. And I was taking so much abuse. And like everyone was like, you need to get this person out of your life. You are clearly just like really negatively impacted by this. And I couldn't. It wasn't until I saw how the negativity on me made me not as good of a mom, like because I would come home and I'd have anxiety or I'd be more quick to anger. And I just have these like precious little kids. And I'm like, whoa. And it's like now that I perceived it as her doing it to them, that was when I was like, that's it. It's like no more. Like I cannot. I must protect my kids. But it's like this weird, like, why couldn't I do that for myself? So that's something I'm gonna be like working on and doing because I definitely want my kids to be able to like go out and grow and not have any like me needing them sort of dependence. I want to be able to like protect myself for myself.
Right, right. That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird that fours are so gullible in that sense. Like
It might also be my sleep last. Like, right? It's like I don't totally want to speak for all fours because, like, but I know that that at least relates to my fourness in many ways. But I don't know that we're like, I
no,
don't want to
it's a
say that
pattern
we're
I'm
all.
seeing. It's a pattern I'm seeing with other fours. It's not just you.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
there
like
you go.
like my girlfriend's like, I don't, I can't tell if the person is like legit or not, or like this. I'm like, how can you not tell? It's kind of obvious, like it's like I just
Yeah.
can't, And then I have a friend who's also an INTP. I think he got typed by David Chan actually in their meetup, back in Seattle when they used to do the in-person meetups. You met David Chan too, right? Um, so yeah, so he's also a four. He's an INTP, and he's also he openly tells me he's like, I'm so gullible. I get like I don't know. He's like I don't know when people are like tricking him or not, or like telling him the truth or not. So it's like I mean, I guess you guys are still good at double observing, so you're not likely to get tricked in that aspect. But when it comes to like a human being, like you're
Yeah.
likely to get tricked. And like, I feel like fours are almost like it's like an EJ. It's almost like an EJ type, like social type. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I would recommend to them. I read this book and it's I'm trying to remember. It's like it's about like people like Owen Cook.
yeah.
It's about pickup artists and it's a book where a guy comes clean about it. Like he goes through
Oh,
his
the game.
whole the game. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
that's a
read
great
that
book.
in undergrad and
You read
in
it?
my fairness, because somebody I lived with was like, Julie, you need to read this.
Yeah,
Probably a two being like, let me take care of you.
yeah.
And like you poor gullible thing. And like reading that really helped me. And again, it made me see other things like people think I'm prophetic because I'm like, that guy's cheating on you. And they're like, no, and they hate me for 6 months and then they come back and they're like, how'd you know? And I'm like, NT plus I read this book. It's like I see it for other people. It's like for myself, I can even see it, but I also see the good in them, and that's the problem. And I'm like, but I can help them, but like maybe they're having really hard time and they need someone to help them to like
Oh, I
overcome
see.
this.
Oh,
It's a
I
weird
see.
thing.
I
Yeah.
think it's a combination of you being a four and your FE, double activated FE. I think it's like
Yeah.
a mix of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have
Yeah.
FI, right? So I can see if I see someone suffering, but I know they're a scumbag, I don't care. You know, But the
Well,
F,
I'm learning sometimes they need to suffer. Sometimes that is the caring thing. Some like
yeah.
this person who was bullying me. It's like you need to not have people placate you because you need to fall in order to learn that you need to grow as a person in
Yeah.
this part of your life. Yeah.
I think a lot of those people also the more like trying to avoid suffering for growth purposes. I think a lot of them are, from my experience, I have a sister who's a number three, EJ, ENFJ, and she yeah, just always looking for someone to rescue her. And she keeps getting enabled. That's why she can't grow. I think some
Yeah,
people they have to hit rock bottom, otherwise
exactly.
they can't move forward. And it has to be their definition of rock bottom, because even if you're an outsider and you're like, this person's already at rock bottom, they're not a rock bottom unless they think they're a rock bottom. You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point. Yeah.
So if they're like broke, don't have a job, all that stuff, horrible relationships, all the bad stuff you can think of, but they don't think they're a rock bottom, they're not. Even if like objectively it is like they're pretty much a rock bottom, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
yeah, yeah. And then like if like and it makes me, here's another beef. Sorry, like I know this is not
Oh.
you, but like number four, oh my god, number four, like David Chan said, number four, like if you're in trouble, you need go number four will help you. I'm like, I'm sometimes I'm like, don't help that person. They need they need to crash and burn. You need to don't help them. Okay, don't
Yeah.
help. I'm a number two too, so I mean I care about people also. But
Yeah.
I know when that person needs to suffer, because um
Yeah.
like what did they say? Like number threes and fours need positive reinforcement, while ones and twos need like they thrive off negative reinforcement. Um
Oh, positive reinforcement. We need positive reinforcement. That's what they said.
yeah, three and fours, yeah, that's like a cross check apparently. And then
Oh, wait, threes and fours or twos and fours?
threes
Sorry.
and fours, threes and fours, positive reinforcement.
Okay, cool.
Ones and twos, negative reinforcement. Because like threes, they want to hear like good job from like the number twos or something, you know, like you're valued, like that kind of stuff. Like they want to hear like hear that shit, right? Like for me as a number two, I think that's kind of gross, right? You know. um but then my love language, the cross check for that is like acts of service, right? So if someone comes to help me out because I'm so overwhelmed, being like sleep last, Number two, doing so many like plate spinning. Someone helps me
Yeah.
and like alleviates one of those things up, one of the plates I'm spinning, then
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
best friends. That's like my perspective on things, right? Uh,
Yes.
I don't care about the word. The words mean nothing, you know. Like, but I mean that's my perspective on it. But like,
Yeah.
I don't think the love language is fully honed in yet though for the social types, because like the way they say it in the class is like one's of words of affirmation, two is acts of service, three is gifts, and four is quality time. I think there's some overlap, obviously, like force and quality time. I think that's definitely a thing.
Mhm.
Um, you know, because like I'm a two, right? So acts of service and quality time would be my love languages, right? But the one thing I'm also noticing is that fours are very sensitive to words, from what I've seen. So I don't know if like you can relate to that, but I've noticed that if you say something bad to a four, they really like take it to heart, you know. Um,
Oh, okay. Like if you say negative, like how do you mean sensitive to words? Because
yeah, if someone
like
says
I'm like feminine SI demon. I'm like words are like I love the right word, but
if someone criticizes you, if someone criticizes you, for example,
oh, criticisms. Okay, we're yeah, so stuff criticism.
yeah, yeah. So what from what I've seen, fours are very sensitive to criticism. But how do you personally see that though? Because you're an IP. So I've only seen it in IJs, EPs, you know.
So like during this whole like social process, I don't know if you've done this. Yeah, you've done this at all. Like every now and then I'm like, but am I a one? And it's like ridiculous. And it's like, no. And I'll like say it to my husband. And he'll go, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. And it's like, but that's one of the things, like criticism definitely drives me. But I think in the moment, if you say something, then in that moment, I think I totally would be more likely than a one to like cry or something like that. But
Right.
like I go later and then okay, like let me give an example. Let me give SI on this. So whenever I was in, because I remember the first time I took criticism and like made myself better. I had these cousins that lived across the state from me, and so I would see them about once a year. And I always really enjoyed hanging out with them because I'm friends. And then like we got older and then I think that like the one cousin was in college and he like came back to a family reunion or something. And I forget how he said it, but he was like, oh my God, Julie, he's like, you're so much better because when you were younger, you were just like, you could be so annoying. And I was just like, crumble, right? Like decider, DI, like all the
Got
things. And,
judge. Yeah.
no. And I was so upset.
Yeah.
And like, I don't remember how long it took me to process that. Like, probably months, maybe even years back then when I was younger. But then I was like, you know what, though? I was like, I'm starting to notice when I'm annoying and I'm starting to try to be less annoying and I'm trying to be a better person. And this makes people like me more, which I guess double win on Demon FE and friends.
Right.
And so it's like, now that I'm older, when I take criticism, I don't think like I like it. I thrive in environments, honestly. Like the last time I was on a team, like we would honestly just kind of like yell at each other, and I kind of loved it. It was just like I felt like it was making me stronger and better.
Yeah.
Um, but right, but I loved my team. So like yes, and also take it and make yourself better. That could just be my functions though, right? Kind of saving me from that to some degree.
Yeah, I think the words thing is tricky. I feel like for number fours, the words that you guys would feel good about
Annoying.
is no, not annoying, but like I mean like the words that you guys would feel good about is if someone were to say you're like a caring person, or like, you know, you're really like attentive to other people, you know. Um, is that something that you resonate with? Like if someone were to compliment you, but in like not in like an ego boosting way, but more like because you care about the tribe kind of way, you know?
Yeah, people when people. Let me just sputter my demon out. Okay, so we have a friend, so I have young kids, so big shift in my life, big points of transformation, big changes, which honestly, I want to come back to that. Actually, I have a question for you about that, if I may. But so like new people in my life, because now I have this extra dimension of my kids, and it's like, well, I want to be able to spend time with them, so I'm making friends with people who have other kids, but also then whose parenting styles overlap with me. And there's someone who like at first was kind of hard to for me, like we didn't totally match, but she came up to me and she said that she really likes how I parent, and she likes to ask me about it and about my thought process and try to use it for herself. And yeah, I find that incredibly flattering, and it feels good that I'm like helping her possibly. And yeah, that makes me want to like go do that more. So yeah, my my instinct was no, but yeah, it's totally true.
Oh, no, in what sense?
Oh, I mean masculine. I forget if it's my exact 512 or if it's masculine TI in itself, but like back when I got my type, I remember Dave and Shan telling me I was a nope machine.
Yeah.
So like the first thing that I'll say is like no, but that,
And then you got proven. You get
so
busted, right?
I was like no, and then I was like let me pause in my head and think about it. So yeah, I definitely like that. I mean, it's like as the only drive, no. And two, like I said, I think I am more savvy. Like when people compliment me too much, but see, that's also maybe flex demon, because Shan says that like ones thrive on compliments. Like the only thing that they said about Shyamalan being a one, because I thought he was a four, because I found this video where this guy was just like, "You're so nice. Why are you so nice?" And the guy would not shut up about how like Shyamalan was the nicest director ever. So I was like, "Oh, Shyamalan's a four." But like they said that he really grew off of some validation, and I've been like still processing that, and probably Shyamalan is a four, like a one. I'm sorry, like they typed him that. So, but it's like I'm still trying to totally figure out why that is, because I do like validation, but it is like I don't like too much. It makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me not trust you. Like when somebody comes at me hard, like somebody recent, like a couple months ago, just was like showering me with it. And like I avoided talking to them again for a month, and I had to process. I was like, oh, like looked back at the conversation. I was like, they gave me way too many compliments. It makes me feel like they have a scam.
I see. That's funny.
I'm like, why would you shower me with that much praise unless you want to make me feel elevated so that you can use me?
I mean, it's one of it's I think I can only think of two situations. The number one is like a number one with a scam, or it could
Oh,
be
like
like someone that's like an ESFJ or ENFJ with lead FE. So they're not balancing with
right.
um with praise and negativity. Because like if you watch a double decider, they'll praise you, but they'll also insult you almost in the same sentence, right? Because if because they know if too much praise it's cringe, but too much insult is offensive. But there's like a sweet spot, kind of like the best example was when they did a typing video of Robert Downey Jr. and he was saying shit about the Captain American guy, um something Evans, and then
Yeah.
Chris Evans. So like what he'll say is like, oh yeah, he's a great guy, always late, or like doesn't communicate well, but like great guy, right? Like so he'll say some insult about him, but also compliment him, right? So
Yes.
that's like the double decider way. Like I have to insult you, but I have to also like praise you at the same time in the same sentence. Otherwise, it's like you know, otherwise I
And
cannot trust you.
I do that to a degree too. My type twins actually like often say that I'm kind of the most double decidery of us,
Yeah,
because like I do a lot of that. And I've actually always kind of said that like if I insult you, it means that I like you. If I don't insult you, it means that I think you can't handle it or you're
yeah,
not like part of my tribe.
yeah,
But like I got that from my dad too. And I'm pretty sure I figured out recently what his 512 was, which took me 5 years, but I think I
yeah.
finally figured it out. And I think he was a double decider and a four. So I always got that from him, that like, I don't know, that making fun of each other is like, means we're buddies.
I think I'm starting to see it a little bit different now too. Like based on what you're saying, is I think the way like an IP number four would do it would be different from like a double decider number four versus like an EJ number four. So I feel like there's almost like three categories for
That makes
this.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the IJs and EPs are kind of like similar in that aspect when it comes to that, like, saying something good or bad to someone,
Yeah.
um, because of the double deciding. But like the
Yeah.
IPs and the EJs, they seem like in completely different camps about that. Like the EJs, for example, especially those with FE, it's almost like you you can't say anything bad about someone, especially if they have FE, right? But I guess if they have TE, they're like an ENTJ or ESTJ, it's a little bit different, like, because they have a feeling in the bottom, so they're not aware of emotions at all, which is horrible. No offense if you're an ENTJ, ESTJ watching this, you're not a horrible person, wink, 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 just kidding. I can't. I'm a double sided. I cannot not insult someone. I have to insult someone. Um, yeah. Yeah, I've been to social events too before. I'm like, oh my God. Oh yeah, I remember my last, like one of my last jobs. I went to the office, and like when I went home, like the first thing I thought in my head was like, oh my God, oh yeah, sorry. So in my previous job, we always have like those team meetings on Microsoft Teams. Um, and then every time the meeting ends, I'm always like drained as hell because I'm like, because way too much FE, right? And I'm like, I'm just waiting for someone to insult someone. Someone please insult someone in this meeting. I don't want to hear any more positivity or any of this nonsense. Please, someone insult somebody, you know, say something, you know.
Yeah. I went to my cousin's wedding and she's also a 2 or a 4 and she's
Yeah,
close in type to me. And like she just got married. I never met any of these people. She was up there like ripping on her husband. And I could see so many people in the crowd, like it was all his family. And he
yeah.
felt like a 3, and a lot of them felt like flex above friends as well. And everybody was like, oh my goodness. And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, keep the Anderson tradition alive, make fun of everybody. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Well, I have a friend, she's like a jumper ESFP, the one I was telling you about, not on social media, and she's like double masculine. So she's like crank up to the max, like play, blast, consume, sleep. And,
Yes.
oh my gosh, she's like an insult machine. Like every time I have a party, she's insulting everyone, especially me, but like she's like an insult machine, right? And it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's funny. But she is just like harsh insulting everyone, right? You know, like just
Yeah.
like just harsh insult. But what I like about her though is if she does compliment you, it's from the heart. And so that's like the way I see it now. It's like if someone is like hypercritical, it's good because if they have something good to say about you, it's also real. Versus the
Yeah.
person that's always complimenting you, that none of it is real, you know. Uh
Yes.
so
Yep.
um where was it again?
That's the flex. Okay, so can I um so I think okay, my channel that I want to start is about story structure. And I actually built story structure in part. I've been working on it for
Is this a
5
YouTube
years.
channel you're doing?
Yes.
Okay,
And
okay.
I'm about to start it. I literally like tried to record my first video last week, and I am blast third and it
Okay.
was a mess, but I'm like getting there. I'm specializing myself with it's nice to see that this is my specializing. Once I specialize, I can then do the responsibility of the channel. So I'm like on the precipice of it. But so I was building story structure, and then ops kind of helped me with it in part of it. And it's funny, coming back to socials, I actually have a theory that I'm going to post, that I think socials basically are these story threads, kind of how we act them out. And flex, I think, is mastery. And in mastery, you need a mentor, like figure, and you need to get corrected. You need to be told, like, this is your flaw, this is what's wrong, in order to build yourself up and get better, right? It's like you can think of all those karate movies where it's like you're hitting the the kid or whatever. It's like, huh, no, no, bam, bam. And it's like you need that harshness in order to like level up,
Right.
right? And so I feel like that is you describing your flex right there.
Yeah. Well, based on what you're saying about like mentors and stuff, it's like the way I see it is like if you're trying to go from like point A to point B, let's say point A is here in the bottom, right? And point B is here in the top, right? So
Mhm.
ideally you want to go there on like a linear path, right? But like,
Mhm.
in life, it's not like that. It's like, it's more like, kind of like, all over the place, like zigzagging all over the place, right? So I find that if you have like,
Especially for the sleep last, yes.
yeah, especially if you're sleep lost, you can't prioritize.
Right? Like,
You can't
yes.
prioritize. Yeah. But I feel like if you have like a group of peers that's also doing the same thing as you and you're going towards the same trajectory, then you can kind of see like there's like a boundary now that like kind of gets set. So instead of like you like going out of crazy, there's gonna be like a wall, and then you get feedback from the tribe, and then so you're gonna be like going the same trajectory, but kind of like, but then when you have a mentor, then the walls become even smaller, right? And so it's like you're not zigzagging all over the place. It's like small zigzags on your way up. So you reach the goal much faster as a result of having mentors and having a group of peers to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to say
Just
something?
that you just like okay, so like my third thing is responsibility. And to me, getting to the responsibility feels like a wall. It feels like I hit a wall. Like right now, I'm like, why can't I just start making these dang videos? Right.
Yeah.
And it's like always like that. It was like that in becoming a mom. It's like, it's, I kind of feel like Keanu Reeves whenever he, like, let me jump back. So in story structure, what I believe, what I'm seeing is that responsibility is transformation. Because a lot of times, think about it, if you can transform fast, you can wear all the hats. Because in stories, a lot transformation, literally, they will be changing their clothes so that they can do the new thing. And I do struggle with like changing my hat. Like becoming a mother was just this like, no, no, no. Like, even though I wanted it, even though I was like, yes, but like the actual act of it felt like I was just like hitting this wall. And it's like, that's how I've said it to myself. And I wonder if, but we're also both sleep last. So I wonder if it's partly the sleep last, which is so interesting that it felt like you were just describing your third social, I want to call it animal, social thing,
Flex.
responsible flex, that you were describing it in a way to me that felt so similar to my responsibility. It's just crazy. It feels like a wall to just overcome, doesn't it?
Have you ever seen a YouTube channel called Curse Guess Sag? It's like one of those scientific explainer cartoon, like kind of like the infographic show, but it's like KURZEGESAGT. I don't know if you've heard of that.
So I have another theory is that I think being responsibility third, I've noticed that I feel like I consume a lot less than most of my type twins because I feel like Sasha consumes everything within her specialization, so she doesn't miss a thing. And then I feel like Melanie is like consume like just broader, right? Like she's just like, and here's this. Like I just feel like this. I'm like, at first I was like, why do I feel like I have less consumed than you guys? I feel like something with responsibility. So no, there is so much that I am unaware of, and I feel like it has to do with responsibility.
Okay, well, no worries. I can like just give you the gist
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
trying to say. So basically,
Friends, that's what makes me go consume a thing. I'll
right.
probably go consume it after this.
Yeah, check
Yeah.
it out. Check it out. I'll see if I can find the video. I can like send you the link. But like
Yeah.
they made a video of like saying like how come people procrastinate and they can't get anything done? That's like the video pretty much, right? Like you want to reach this, like you being like a superhero, achieving all the stuff that you want to achieve, but instead you're in a couch on your phone procrastinating and feeling sorry for yourself or something, right? Like, because you're not doing the stuff that you want. It's like so where's the disconnect happening? So basically, like the way they explain it is like to do something different and new, you have to go through like they call it like tall grasses. So imagine you have to navigate uh through tall grasses. You can't even see what's in front of you because the grass is tall. So you have to like use a machete to hack and slash and get through the grass, right? To get through the first time. But apparently over time what happens, and then so for a lot of people that's so painful, they rather go to what's already familiar, where there's like a paved road and you can go from point A to point B. You know exactly what's gonna happen and you're gonna feel good at the end of it, right? That's like the reward. In many people's case, that's like going on their phone scrolling to social media because you get the instant gratification, right? With TikTok,
Dopamine.
yeah, dopamine hit, exactly. But basically they said that, okay, if you want to do something new, you just have to do it where you have no expectation of the result and the
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is that those tall grasses will get trampled on or cut, and eventually those tall grasses will get flattened, and now you have a pathway, right? So it's like a little bit easier now to go from point A to point B. And then before long, that pathway becomes a dirt road. It becomes like an actual road, and before long it's like a super highway, right? And it's like, yeah, it's just essentially practice, and through practice you're going to see that, oh, it's actually a straight road. So if you're having trouble with your sleep or your blast, it's because you're not practicing enough, and you're not practicing enough because it's too overwhelming. You're trying to go from like 0 to 100 too fast, when actually you're supposed to just go from 0 to 1, 0 to 1%, right?
Yes.
So, and then
Okay, there it is. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Small
and then, yeah, small steps, right? And then even like Mr. Beast, he's like the top YouTuber in the world. Like he's gonna be number one soon after he beats the T series, right? It's like he said, your first 100 videos, just make it. That's what he said. Just make it. He said your first 100 videos gonna be shit. That's what he said. Like, just
Yep.
make it. Just get it over with and make it as fast
And
as
then he
possible.
says, but he also says, make every video better than the last one.
Yeah, micro tweaks though. It's not like a big tweak. Just you do
No,
only
it's
one
true.
aspect. Yeah, just one aspect, right? So it could be the way you deliver your voice. It could be something in the thumbnail, something in the headline. It's just one aspect, right? So it's not a lot of tweaking you're doing. You're doing one tweak. So if you get to 100 as fast as possible, by the end of it, you'll be shocked at how much you've actually upgraded, And now suddenly the pathway doesn't seem so bad, right? Now it's like, oh, you
Yes.
know, and that's what I did in my channel,
So
right?
when did you discover this? How old were you when you discovered this?
Discovered what?
This way of doing things.
I just discovered it when I discovered SI was my problem. Like,
So
um,
like 5 years ago, like 2018-ish?
no, I mean, I was typed as an ENFP before OPS. Like, when I went to college, I went to what I had a class. It was like professional development or something. Like they were teaching us how to do resumes and cover letters and stuff. We actually had like a professional Myers-Briggs person come in and give us our personality type. And then I got ENFP already long time ago. It's not like like the new stuff is like the jumper ENFP. That's like the new stuff for me. So like even like it was like 12 years ago. And then after I got my type back, I saw the old Dave Superpowers video, those old ones with the bubbles. And then I saw,
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's what I found too.
yeah. And
I
I saw like
remember.
the green SI in the bottom, right? And I already,
Yep.
yeah, so I already knew for a long time that SI is like a thing. Like this is actually a problem, you know? And that's why I can't talk to people who are lead sensory, because I have demon sensory, essentially, right? Like for us, it's easy to talk because we're both lead intuitive, plus we both have NE, right? Um,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
we're both NT also. So we talk the same
Yeah,
language for a lot of stuff.
we do.
Uh,
Yep.
but like if I'm talking to someone with like SI, I'm like, like I don't know how to convey my message to them, right? But anyhow, with that being said, like when I started my YouTube channel, it's just like, okay, what's like the lowest common denominator that I can maintain my channel for a long time without giving up? And for me, it's like interviews, right? So interviews with no editing whatsoever. So basically, I talk to you on Zoom, I take the clip, and I upload it, and that's it. No editing whatsoever. And guess what? It's almost been 5 years since I started. I
Yeah.
started 2019, so like 4 years. Going to my fifth year now, and I'm still going. I'm still interviewing people and stuff. I'm making explainer videos. Never stop. So, you know,
And that's the thing. I think that is a discovery. Like it's like we've both had that discovery because I have that in me. But it's like I feel like responsibility helps you get there because part of transformation is like this is good, this is bad, shed that, go with that. Like it's like that's why so many entrepreneurs are twos. It's like you're able to like drop a thing and pick up the good thing and go. And like because I've kind of known this and I've had it in my mind, but it's like another thing to stop specializing the shit out of what I'm doing because it's like I'm not going and scrolling on Facebook instead of working on my stuff. What I'm doing is perfecting my stuff again.
oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like also a problem. Like literally like video recording myself was so helpful because it was such a shit show. I had like 60 slides for this first talk and it's just like and like I knew it was bad, but like finally I had to be like just do it. Just go make a video and it was so bad that I've remade it again. And
Oh my God.
I know. But the thing is that like it's like I have to have a specialized to start. It's like I've seen that in myself. Like what you're saying is also true. And I also need that. And I also need to hold it. But it's like, gotta hold these two things in the balance. I just have to be specialized enough. But it's good to have that push of like, just go, do as you can, like do it in the swing of things, because I honestly in here still feel not ready. I could make these things so much better. So there's like this weird balance though of like, yes, do that, just get going and like get better as you go. So, but I do really appreciate you saying that, because like that is the thing. I need to hear that. And especially because I feel like I'm getting my responsibility now. And I would be curious if that was you getting your responsibility, because it's like, I feel like with the socials, I feel like they are journeys and that we're still like, we have to learn them to some degree. And maybe depending on how much they fight what we are or whatever, and the information still has to come to us from outside and grab onto it. It's just like, yeah, I need to hear that. Can I ask you another thing about responsibility that I'm curious about? How do you notice? I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm hijacking, aren't I?
It's
Don't let
okay.
me
It's
do
fine.
it.
No, I just wanted to say that it's okay to specialize after the 100 videos is finished. Then you are supposed to specialize afterward. But you can't. It's like it's almost like being consumed last, you know. It's like with consume last, they don't even read the book, they just skim through the thing or read the front and the back and they don't read the book, right? So it's almost
I'm
that
still
version.
processing this. I thought Vivek sounded like he read stuff. So like, yes. But like I think they do. Ty Lopez goes and reads a bunch of stuff. But yes, you're right. It's like a skimming. It's a
Well,
okay, I grab this for my NI and then I'm good.
no, because Dave said that he watched a recent Ty Lopez video and apparently he doesn't read the inside, he just skims through it.
I saw
So,
that here.
and he's
Yeah.
only looking for the solution, and the solution is like what he already sees inside his OI. So it's kind of stupid, you know? Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not consuming anything new. If you're looking for something that to validate what you already know, that's not that's not consume. Consume is like something that could potentially destroy your worldview, right?
In my
So
opinion, to some degree, we're all doing that anyway. We're all just grabbing what it is that, like, whatever function or journey we're on is looking for at that moment. And that's
sure. To an
fine so
extent,
long as we keep some balance with it, right?
no, to an extent, I would say yes. But I think
Yeah.
true consume, and you would know this because you have high consume, you're double
Yeah, but
matching.
it's at the top. So I'm also a mess with my consume, right? My consume pile's ridiculous.
But what I'm trying to say here is doing that consume that consume last that Ty Lopez is doing and those other people is the equivalent of what the blast last people are doing, hoping for the perfect execution when you need to make 100 blast bursts of
Yeah.
pure crap, and then not pure crap, but like not the best, but like, and then
But
that
small steps, not true. They don't need to go from 0 to 100. They need to go from 0 to 1. They need to make one crappy thing. And like, if they make one crappy thing in a year, now they need to make two crappy things in a year. Like, you don't want to just be like, I don't know. I know Dave used to say that. I kind of disagree because, for instance, when I have found if I go and I do too much sleep, if I'm like, okay, I'm shutting off everything, I'm not consuming anything, I'm staying away from possibilities, all I'm doing is taking care of my body, taking care of my house. It's like I am fooling myself. I am like locking the monster in the cage and like starving it. And it is just going to come out and be a huge mess that I can't even contain at all. Like, it's like, so it's small steps, right? It's, I don't know. I'm not a believer of the like go and crazy it out and do a whole bunch of your demon. I'm not, I think small steps for your demon. But you know what's interesting is that you and Dave say that. So maybe that's kind of like a responsibility thing.
yeah, I'm 100% all in. Go 100% like all in that thing that you need to work on. What are you waiting for? That's the kind of like I'm thinking. It's like you're gonna
I'm trying
twiddle
to specialize it maybe.
you're gonna twiddle your thumbs and wait for magic to happen, you know? So that's my thought process on that. Like you're gonna have to do it anyways. You can think about it all you want, but regardless, you're gonna have to do it anyways. So might as well get it over with. you know.
Did you just tell a lead masculine NT consume that I can think about it all I want? Because that's all I heard. Permission taken. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Let
can
that go.
no, I can say it to you because your blast activated. It's not missing. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. But like I have blast and consume in the middle, so I it's like double deciding for those two, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, I'm like I'm gonna keep blasting until I hit a wall, and I'll go in a massive consume, and then go back to blast, and it's good, right? But I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sleep blast, so I can still go in all in my sleep, which I've done a few times already. It's
yeah.
really nice. So um. But anyways, you wanted to ask me something earlier. What was it now? Or did you
What
forget?
if that's like your specialization moment? Maybe it's like you can go and be like, now I'm gonna do sleep for a while because it's like you're down there, you've hit your specialization, and it's like now you can kind of like sit there.
Specialization is with blast though.
No, no, no. Ah, okay, yeah. See this is
Sleep
like how
sleep is flex.
I don't think so.
I think so. 100%.
Well, watch my video and maybe I'll convince you otherwise.
Okay.
Because they're journeys. So I think that they actually each use three animals. And I think specialize kind of uses yeah, everything but consume. Yes. In my opinion.
No, I
It
mean
uses
I'm talking about the
discovery, redemption, and mastery together.
I'm talking about
It's
the primary. Of course, everything is using every other stuff, of course, but like I'm talking about the primary one, you know. Um,
just check it out. I might change my mind. That's all.
okay, sure.
Okay, what was your question?
I mean, I'm specialization last, right? So
Yes.
like Dave said I was 0 out of 4. He said he's 1 out of 3. So what he means is like in the audios he sent me. So he said, okay, he's the number 2, so he wants to do other shit, right? And then he's what's the other stuff he said? He's what was the other one? Shoot, I forgot. Oh yeah, he's extroverted because he has blast play, right, in his first 3. So again, doesn't want to hone in into something, but he's an IJ. So that's why he said he's 1 out of 3. I actually don't think he's 1 out of 3. I think he's 2 out of 4. Because he's blast savior and blast activates specialization. So so he has the IJ and stuff. He said I was 0 out of 4 because I'm an EP. EP wants to channel change, right? And then I'm super extroverted, play blast. Okay. So I don't want to focus. I want to hang out with people instead of like hiding in a room to craft something. And then he also said that I am a number 2, so want to do something different, right? And then he said I have SI in the bottom, so I don't want to organize anything to produce, right? But I'm actually 1 out of 5 because I have blast second, so it does activate the specialization coin, which you don't agree with, but that in OPS, that's how they labeled it, right? Blast is specialization, play is
Okay, is that dogma? I thought
it's their
I
thing.
thought
It's actually their thing, you know. And then
okay.
sleep
I
is
don't have the SI on it, so maybe they have said that. I thought that they were debating it, and that at some point they said it was more like modalities.
yeah. Well, they said the modalities comes first, so the modalities come first, and
No,
that's
the last I heard on that was that like they think that the socials, but like I said, I consume less than everybody, and 5 hours is a lot to consume, so I'm behind on that. But I will say I don't think it's not that I totally disagree with it. It's that I think it's a journey and that you're going to grab more blast from if you have blast higher, you grab blast along your journeys. And yeah, blast is at the top of the specialization journey, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
I sent them my video for typing for social type because and
Yes,
then
yes.
sorry.
I say yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So they thought I was a 4 at first, but also at the same time they were flipping between 4 and 2, so they weren't 100%
I
sure.
thought you were a 4 too. Yeah.
Yeah, they said I was. They said they said they thought I was either 2 or 4, leaning towards 4. That's what they said, right?
Mhm.
But then when I sent in the video and then you know, I don't know if you send in videos also for typing for that, but or if you just ask them directly.
Yeah, we kind of did a group thing, and Dave said listed a bunch of things about me, and like because I visited them forever ago too, so like they know me pretty well.
Yeah,
And Dave was like, "Yeah, Julie forfeits."
that's funny. That's a good one. I like that one. But and um so in their new typing system, you're supposed to send them your video, right? Your typing videos. But on top of your typing
Yeah,
videos,
I used friends to get mine. Aren't I like just I'm sorry, it's everywhere. Yeah. Like I didn't do it. Other people did it and I jumped on the yeah.
well, I mean, I did ask them. I emailed them too because they met me also. I met them in person, right? But then
yeah.
they said I was like hard to nail down for that for
You
that.
are. I yeah, I can see
So
that.
like they were like because like I asked them 2 or 4 is what they said, right? And then, but they
Mhm.
were telling people in the community I was a 4. I was like, if you're telling people in the community I'm a 4, why are you telling me I'm a 2 or 4? I'm getting confused now, right? Can you please pick one? You know? So I sent them my video early in December, and then they said, okay, we got your video. We'll review it at this time. I still don't know 2 or 4, right? So
Right.
um
Yeah, yeah.
and then so you can send them your video now, and then in the new typing stuff they do, you can put supporting documents, which I wish they had long time ago. I don't know why they didn't have it long time ago.
Oh,
But now you
okay,
can
yeah.
put supporting documents. You can put your if you have a website, a blog, social media, um, anything about you that you want to share. So I made like a huge supporting document list. So they weren't able to narrow me down until I presented all my like supporting documents essentially, right? Um, and then you're supposed to make a case too, right? So for my case, it's like um, I think I'm savior friend, so 2 and 4 makes sense, right? But
Yeah, definitely.
I don't resonate with 4 because if you look at my animal stack, play, blast, consume, sleep, play activates um friends, and then blast activates specialization, consume activates responsibility, and sleep activates sleep. I would be a straight flush 4 then. But why do I feel a cognitive dissonance? I do not I do not connect with it. I don't relate with it, right? So that was like a major clue for them because they forgot about my full type, and they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Like all this is touching all the stuff based on their own evidence that they presented in their classes about social type.
And they're still learning about it, right? I mean,
Right.
Dave says all the time that he doesn't fully understand it because also people have sent me their audios, and in it, he's always saying, so this is my best guess now from my understanding now. This is
Yeah.
the best argument I can make. He said, what, like, ask him in a couple years and he'll have a better argument for like
Sure.
where the socials actually come from. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, they're still learning about it.
Well, I mean, ultimately, what decided for my type was they're like, you are sneaking away from friends to
Yeah.
work. You are putting work above. You're finding a way to sneak away to work on your scams or your business, right? Um,
I
so
do that too, but yeah, probably differently than you. I feel like I have to sneak away too because otherwise I get swept.
no, but I'm like,
But I
I'm
do agree that you're a two. I do agree that you're a two.
yeah,
To me, I think it's what we talked about with how you started putting out videos and you've been doing it and right and you're like I will get better as I go.
it's
I feel
also
like
not that too. I have the third social type usually um will illuminate what your actual social type is. It's the third one.
right,
So
right.
for me, I'm not missing flex, right? So um when I was showing them my
What are you awesome at? What are you awesome at?
sorry,
What are you awesome at, Kendrick?
awesome at well in my support documents, I presented my travel blog and I said I've been to 99 countries around the world. So I was flexing over my travel experience, and I said I have a blog named after me, and all I'm doing in this blog is showing off how awesome I am at traveling. I'm showing my
Right.
adventures and stuff. So they're
Yeah.
like, you are doing that. Holy crap. That's what they said, right? And then I just interviewed someone before you also. And then, she asked me, it's like, okay, where's your flex, right? Because I have double masculine sleep, which activates flex, right? So I have double masculine flex essentially, right? Um, so I'm like, I'm also flexing having the YouTube channel that has the most interviews, you know. Like I have the biggest I've made a decision a long time ago when I started this channel. I want to be like the Joe Rogan of the personality space, and I have the most interviews. So that's where I'm like flexing. I'm like, I'm gonna, get ahead of everyone when it comes to the interview stuff. I'm gonna have the biggest library of interviews. So if people need to learn about different types, they can learn it from people who got officially typed. That's why I only interview people who are officially typed, right? If some people get
Oh,
mad at me about that, but I'm like, no,
what? No.
I want the pure info dominant information. I don't want BS.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah,
Like, even though occasionally Dave and Shan make mistakes, which because they're learning as they go, they
true.
are still really good at it and the best, well above anyone else, especially self-typing. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if they make a mistake, which they has happened, like there was like this one girl who was an ISTJ, they type her as double act
Exactly. Yes,
play,
yes.
game play last, ice thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just changed the headline pretty much. So if that
Ah,
happened,
no.
but
Yeah.
like yeah. So
Right, they do it. But my point is just like, but like, what is their percentage of being incorrect? It's gonna be there. Oh my God, is this me being a 4? I'm like, well, let me show you my flex. I'll just really put these people up on a pedestal. But like, honestly, it's like they're the best at it. So like, why would you go with anything else? Especially self-typing, which is going to be the worst because like
right.
you are bound to like type yourself upside down. Most people anyway.
So to answer your question, the reason why I was able to work on this for so long is because I have flex not missing. And and
Oh, it's also flex, you think? Okay.
and flex is derived from drive, and I don't have drive missing. And I have
People
double.
do that. I have a shit ton of drive. Like my friend said this about me. She said, I go to friend. She said, she was like, you will say you're gonna do something. She's like, and I might not hear about it for 3 years. I might not hear about it at all. And then all of a sudden you will have it done. And then you will be showing it to me and it will be incredible. And she's like, and you just won't talk about it. And I think the lack of flex is the lack of talking about it. Like I was so awkward bringing up my YouTube and I have so much trouble bringing up my YouTube. And you compared yourself to Joe Rogan. And there's like a voice in me that like does that, but it's like I can't
Oh, I mean, you're still
put it out into
you're
the
still
world.
lead
But it's
you're still
weird. I
lead
have
TI,
drive,
Julie.
but I am lead masculine
TI.
TI. So I
Yeah,
have to compare myself more
yeah.
to other fours. But like people in the tribe tell me that I have a lot of drive. So I believe them because other people have to define my flex for me, I guess.
I think if you look at it from a spectrum, I think the IPs would have the most drives of all the fours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's just a case of that then, like
Yeah.
the EJ4 would have the least.
And I got all weird energy. So maybe that was just my demon. Be like, no.
Yeah. I mean, no, I believe you. I think masculine TI does have a lot of drive in general. Or
Yeah,
least,
but that really might have just been a demon moment right there.
yeah.
Demon social moment. Ugh, awkward.
Because TI people are competitive, right? So I think TI is there is like a drive there, even though it's a 4. It doesn't
Yeah.
change the fact you're still friendly. So
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
it's
Oh, I mean, this is like all part of the like I'm still learning where my fourness comes out and
yeah, I guess for the responsibility thing, I think the way I see it is like this is my dream, and I'm not gonna reach my dream if I don't put in the work. Some days I don't have any drive to work. It's just like I'm just gonna do it because I have a dream, and it's not gonna happen if I don't do it. So I reluctantly do it. So it's like I feel responsible for making my goals
it's a
come
little
true.
argument on that though is like, do you vibe with the word generalization?
Yeah, I do.
Because I still think it's generalizing, right? You're like, well, just put it out and see. Like, put it out and it'll work or it won't work, right? It's like that's generalizing. That's responsibility. Like the way that you can just kind of like put it out. That's how it feels to a specializer. So it could not feel like that to you. And I definitely could be seeing it wrong.
It could be TE, see what sticks, right? So
My husband does not do that. My husband, you know what I mean?
he has maybe because he's now number 3 with masculine TE. I don't know. I have feminine TE, so for me it's like let's put a bunch of stuff. If anything sticks, I'll archive it in my masculine SI.
I think I do that more than my husband. So that is just my opinion. I think I do it a little bit more like throwing stuff out there to see if it sticks, but it's like I have to go through friends and specialization first.
Okay.
Like I have to feel like I've like dived into something and then I can start just like throwing stuff at the
Well,
wall.
you know what? Send me your video and we'll talk about it. I got a run though, Julie. But
Thank you. Sorry, I know I could get so debatey. You read on an INTP.
I did. It's fine. I'm cool. I'm also double activated NT like you. So I mean,
That's
not
good.
you're single activated, but like you're double masculine. Mine's double activated. But yeah.
Yay.
So it's all good.
Thank you. It was really fun, Kendrick.
Yeah, it was. All right. Take care, Julie.